So, Acha. Good evening to one and all present here. Hope all are safe and healthy. I'm Afsana Khan, a member of Training and Placement Cell and the moderator of this webinar. On behalf of Training and Placement Cell and Symbiosis Law School Hyderabad, it is my privilege to welcome you all to this national webinar on steering through the paradigm of placements and internship. Symbiosis Law School Hyderabad is founded on the pillars of expertise, justice, service, and is committed to impart quality legal education conforming to acclaimed international standards. Symbiosis Law School Hyderabad is established in 2014, inheriting splendid novelty and excellence in education of Symbiosis International Deemed University, Pune. The Training and Placement Cell is an integral part of Symbiosis Law School Hyderabad. The cell is a student cum faculty body formed by this college to facilitate the process of campus recruitment, internship, and training. The cell conducts training activities for students, mainly focusing on campus placements, internship, career planning, and personality development. We have conducted various webinars and training sessions for students across the country, and it is with immense pleasure we are here with yet another webinar for you all on internships and placements. To help us learn and understand the key aspects of the same, we have with us Mr. Divigan Lahoti. Mr. Divigan Lahoti is a third generation lawyer with an LLM qualification in international commercial law earned at King's College London. With an exposure to wide range of legal disputes, Mr. Divigan Lahoti is one of the leading advocates on record in Supreme Court. He has received MNA 2020 Award for Lawyer of the Year, Alternate Dispute Resolution India by Finance Monthly UK. Mr. Divigant is also recognized by Business World as top 40 lawyers and legal influencers under the age of 40 years. He has been conducting various webinars and workshops training younger generations of our fraternity because he firmly believes that every settled lawyer should ensure that the upcoming generations are properly guided and motivated. With this, I call upon Ms. Sanya Agrawal, the head of Training and Placement Cell, to give the welcome address.
Thank you, Afsana. Good evening to everyone. I'm Sanya Agrawal, the head of the Training and Placement Cell. I'm extremely delighted to welcome you all to the national webinar on steering through the paradigm of placements and internship organized by the Training and Placement Cell. I would like to thank Mr. Divekant Lahoti for taking out time from his busy schedule and gracing us with his presence. I would like to welcome the whole training and placement team members, the advisor of the training and placement team, Ms. Aparna Shukla, and all the students who have come and attended to this webinar. Already, Afsana has given a very big introduction of Mr. Divekant Lahoti. I'd like to just add on to something. So he is a leading advocate in the Supreme Court and was featured as a super lawyer in 2016. He has been acknowledged as an aged young legal professional in the recent book On the Rise. And he has also acclaimed as a shining star of Indian legal fraternity by Corporate Counsel Association of India. Internship is a golden opportunity for every student to gain the first-hand exposure by working in the real world. This is very essential for a law student, especially because it is very important for us to have a practical knowledge, and it enables us to apply these practical knowledge or the theoretical knowledge of the law in the practical fields. Internship provide a new learning curve to the students and boost the confidence as well as the skills within the students. So with this webinar, we aim that the students will get a very good training from the internships and the upcoming placements, and how to apply to these for these trainings, internships and the placements will be so this webinar will help you in, or will be a guiding light in reaching to that position. So it will help the students in getting a clearer picture about the preparation of the interviews and the resume writing, inter alia, assisting during internships and the placements. I sincerely hope the event proves rewarding in every aspect to all the students who are present, and I would like to convey my well wishes to all the participants. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. With this, we'll begin the session. So over to you.
I first of all thank Symbiosis Law School Hyderabad for organizing such a elementary but very important subject on internships and placements. I firmly believe that internships are like breakfast towards the onset of your legal journey and your legal career. Every law student should carefully analyze 4 W's: why, when, where, and under whom he should intern to start with. So, why should a legal student intern? That's the first W. Not just to gain exposure, but also to learn and showcase your skills, market yourself, understand the competition, compete with career peers, and analyze your prospects. So that is the importance of an internship, and why you should, from the very beginning of your career, when you are in law school, you should start doing the internship. Now we come to when you should do the internship. I firmly believe that 5 years law course or 3 years law course, you should not waste even a single day, because this is the gestation period where you will be working hard, you will be putting all your efforts to enter into a legal fraternity which is full of competition. So my suggestion is never waste even a single day. And the importance of this you would realize when you actually enter the gateways of legal fraternity. So start from the very first year. And most importantly, plan it in advance. So planning an internship is equally important than doing an internship. So plan at least 3 to 6 months in advance, and please do not do a last minute applications to law firms that, sir or ma'am, I want to apply for internship. So please tell me whether any slots are available. Any good law firm or any good company may not prefer such practice. So if you plan well in advance, it will help you in achieving an internship offer, and then it will also look professional on your part that yes, I have planned in advance why I am applying here, and that's why I'm applying in this particular place. Now this leads to another question: where you should apply and where you should intern. Often there is a confusion between the first generation lawyers that how and where should I apply, how to approach them. So this is very important from the perspective of those students, that if there is any confusion, then there are various websites which are available nowadays to your benefits, like Law Octopus, Law Ordo, Internshala, and many more, Live Law, Spicy IP, Bar and Bench, which gives you and disseminate the information about the internships which are available in the market and in the various companies and law firms. So coming to where there is another subset is under whom you should intern. Once you are clear that yes, I want to intern in this particular law firm, then you should also be aware that in that law firm under whom you should intern, there may be various branches, various departments in a particular law firm, whether you want to do under a dispute resolution practice area, whether you want to do under a capital market, corporate governance, finance. There are many of such fields which are open to you. So you must be aware that yes, I want to do an internship in this particular field, in this particular law firm, and under this particular partner or this particular team. See, it's very important. If you do this exercise, you will enjoy that internship. A good mentor generates your interest in that particular field, and a bad boss kills your interest in that particular area and firm. So these are the 4 W's that you need to keep in mind before applying for an internship or considering any place for internship. Now, I was actually, my office was involved with discussions with Afsana, and she was of the opinion, sir, once we know that there are 4 W's about the internship, then how should a law student highlight his or her profile and so that it stands out and have edge over the profiles of other peers and students? So for that purpose, Afsana, it is very important that each applicant and a candidate should know that a well-drafted cover email is the key to making a first good impression. A cover letter is one where you either send it through email or through post, but it should be it should sound very confident. It should use a formal and professional language. You should do a thorough grammar and avoid grammar check and avoid any grammatical errors, especially spelling mistakes. You should attach your CV with the cover letter. Double check whether you have provided your personal information in that cover letter, whether your phone numbers are there. The email containing the cover letter has an attachment with your CV. Then comes what are the common problems that we have seen in our experience, which the students commit. And these mistakes should not be committed by the students and the candidates while applying for internships. Because it leaves a bad impression, and a first bad impression goes a very long way. So first is the subject of the cover letter. You need to be very careful in writing the subject. Subject should be that internship application for period so and so. Then comes the salutation. Many times we receive emails saying that dear sir stroke ma'am. That should be completely avoided, because if you are applying to a law firm or to a company without knowing to whom you are sending the email, it gives a bad impression. So you should know that whom you are sending that email. Don't just flood the emails of a law firm or a company, because if you do a common email to all the firms, to all the companies, it would tend to get rejected at the very first place. So if you are targeting a particular team or a particular person under whom you want to do an internship, then please be respectful. See, don't write there, because the person or the recipient whom you are sending an email is not your friend or a colleague. He's way more senior in profession than you, and he has obviously attained some degree of maturity and status in the legal fraternity. So it is always advisable to refer with salutation respected. Now you can say respected sir or respected ma'am, and if you know the name, that's a cherry on the top. Say respected Mr. So and so or respected Miss So and so. So that will give a personalized touch to the recipient of that particular cover letter. Then please do not omit the relevant information, like which college you are from, which year you are from, and when and for how long you want to do the internship. Many times we receive internship applications simply saying that I want to do internship at your office. But the candidate forgets to write when he wants to do this internship, for how long, whether you want to do for 15 days, for 1 month, for 2 months, for 3 months. So these are important things that you need to mention in the cover letter. Then is, please do not avoid to add the relevant experience in the field. For example, if you're applying for a litigating firm, then please mention in the cover letter itself that what is your prior experience in any other litigating firm, so that your CV stands out that yes, this candidate has already done some internships in the practice area where he tends to do the internship. So yes, he has some knowledge about that particular area. So you should mention that experience. And when you are sending your application to a large law firms where they have multidisciplinary practice, then it's always advisable to mention the team to whom you are sending, the department and the discipline in which you want the internship. The last thing is, do not use a casual language. Don't say, hi, I've got to know about an internship opportunity at your law firm, so I want to apply for this internship. My CV is attached for your kind perusal. No, this is strictly no. One of the emails that I receive, I'll just give you an example. So it simply says,
no, sir, I was asking for an example for the same.
yes, Afsana. So one of the emails that we received, if I vaguely recollect, it did not have any salutation. It did not have any subject. It says, I, ABC, LLM student of XYZ college, looking for internship in your firm. I hope you will give me this opportunity to work with you and enhance my knowledge and experience. Thanking you, yours sincerely, no name. So, and the CV was attached. Now, such kind of cover letters with such informal language will not give you any internship opportunity, much less an offer to do an internship. So you need, if you want an internship, you need to be prepared. You need to be thorough where you are applying. You need to do a research before applying. It should be a tailor-made cover letter for a particular organization, particular team, and particular department, and with a relevant experience. Then such cover letter will catch an eye of the recruiter or the person who's sitting behind to see, yes, this candidate looks worthy of an offer. Let's consider his application. Then comes an important question. Once the cover letter is in order.
So can I ask a question in between?
Yeah.
So can you please provide us key points for preparation of good CV?
Yes, Afsan. It's very important. See, CV or what we call curriculum vitae is a toolkit to market yourself. The CV can get you an opportunity. A CV can be a deal maker or a deal breaker. So you need to be very careful while drafting your CV. And there are a couple of important points, Afsana, that needs to be kept in mind by law students to draft a CV. Number one, keep it lucid and succinct. Maximum of 2 pages, not more than that. Avoid unnecessary personal details like your age, your religion, your sex. No one is interested in these things. Do not write in first person. Start the sentence with verbs. Then list your educational qualifications and internship experience in a reverse chronological order. Latest on the top and the oldest at the bottom. Then mention what work has been done and under whom it has been done, because this is going to give you or give the reader of your CV and an information about the person who's applying, what type of work he has done and under whom he has done, and whether any special work has been done by such person or not. Especially mention the key areas where you have done such work. If you're applying for a litigation internship, then you might have done internships in corporate department. You might have done internships in capital markets. But what a litigating lawyer requires from a candidate who's applying for internship is that how much internships or how much knowledge does the candidate have about the litigation experience. If he has anything, then highlight those key areas. If you're applying for a corporate internship, then minimize the litigation experience, but highlight your corporate experience, whether you have done any corporate internship in any other law firm. So you have to pick and choose and elaborate on the areas, especially when you are applying for a firm or a department where you want to apply. If you are applying for a corporate or a capital market, then focus or give more details about those previous internships which you have done in those areas. You may mention your litigation experience also, you may mention your NGO experience also, but highlight those areas where you are applying, because the person is looking from that perspective. He's not looking from your perspective, he's looking from his perspective. Then highlight the bullet points. Afsana, there are 4 points that needs to be
sure, sir.
added. Then highlight the points of your achievements and responsibilities. Give more details of your recent scholarships that you have done, and that you have got, any bursaries that you have received, or articles that you have written, debates that you have participated, elocutions, or moot courts, mock trials, parliamentary debates, whatever you have done, highlight them, because that would show that yes, you have also done extracurricular activities, you have done co-curricular activities. If you have won those competitions, highlight them. Also write about whether you have worked in any legal aid clinic or assisted any pro bono work, whether you have attended any seminars, webinars, NGO affiliations. These are all important, because these are those soft skills which are required in a lawyer as such. Then if you have any computer related skills, like you can do Word, PowerPoints, Excel, so you should mention that. Language is an addition apart from your local language. If you have done any foreign language, then mention that foreign language. If you have done any specific training or have done a diploma course, then you should do and mention about those trainings, diploma course, certifications that you have already achieved. Now, it leads to an important aspect that please keep your hobbies and interest section to minimal. Again, no one is interested whether you are a basketball player, whether you are a good dancer, because for the purpose of internship, these are not important. So, and the last thing is, references should not be quoted. Simply say references are available if required. You need not mention that these are the references available. If the employer wants to know your references, he will ask for it. And the last thing, once you have done this CV and drafted it, please check for typos and grammatical errors. No matter how good you are, please run a spell check. Please run a grammar check. There are various softwares which are available nowadays, like Grammarly. It does spell check as well as grammatical check. So you need to proofread your CV before shooting it to the employer. Even if you think that your CV is error-free, then also it's worth requesting your friend or a senior that please read it through. And if there are any mistakes, please let me know so that I send a CV which according to me is perfect. Yes.
So we all know that after CVs, another part of it is interviews. Interviews are another important factor which gets us internships in two-tier firms and all. So can you give us some points for interviews?
Yes. See, Afsana, many firms ask for oral interviews, telephonic interviews, or virtual interviews these days. Many firms do not require such interviews. But when a firm is asking for an interview of a law student, it's the peaking point at the right time when it comes to 3 or 5 years a law student have spent endless hours working hard, late nights, projects, moot courts, internship experiences, all needs to be brought to the notice of your prospective employer. It all leads up to the crucial interview that gives you a foothold into this threshold of legal world with a lot of aspirations, like an employee you want to work with, the role is just what you have hoped for. But at the same time, the stakes are really high, especially since last year, everyone across this industry have taken a hit due to COVID. So you need to be meticulous in your interview. Now, I'm reminded of one of the very famous consultant, and he's also an author, James Sudakov, who has decades of experience in interviewing and as a consultant and as a interviewer. He says that when an employer is looking for a candidate, he basically looks for three things. Number one, he wants to know more about you. See, cover letter has already said about your broader aspects. CV has pinpointed your experience, your qualifications, your achievements, your curricular, extracurricular. Then interview gives a perspective about your communication and interpersonal skills. That's number one. Number two is he wants to ascertain whether you are a right fit for the organization. You may have done a couple of internships in the past. You may have worked in various organizations. You may have written articles and have attended debate competitions, elocution competitions. But still, when it comes to an employer, he wants to know whether the person whom I'm engaging for doing an internship in my office, whether he would be an asset or whether he would be a liability. And the last thing is that employer assesses is to know about your experience and skills, whether it suits his profile or not. Now, these are the three things from the perspective of an employer. Now, from the perspective of a candidate and how he or she should prepare for such interviews. Number one, these are very basic things, but gives an everlasting impression in the mind of an interviewer. Number one, wear formal clothes. Don't go in casual clothes. Even if the interview is through video conferencing, then also it's always better that you wear formal clothes, and especially in a legal field, which is more formal in nature, it's always advisable to wear formal clothes, preferably a white shirt and black pant or Indian formals. Second, always be on time, and better to be early 10 or 15 minutes so that you understand the new environment, because the office where you are going is a completely new place for you. You don't know the settings over there. So if you arrive early, you will get acquainted to that place. Third, always do your research about the organization and the team or the department where you have applied and got the offer for interview. You don't want to get caught off guard. Lack of experience, lack of preparation is an absolutely no-no for any professional, especially the law students. Next point is always look in the eyes of the interviewer. Be honest and humble. Then comes how you should get prepared for these interviews. And what are the probable questions that might be asked during those interviews? Questions about the law firm or a company, as they will reveal whether you have done your research and homework about those organizations, whether you have studied about those law firms, and whether you know that these law firms offer multitudinal services. They are into litigation advisory, they are into corporate advisory, they are into financial advisory, they are into mergers and acquisition, and there are maybe various other fields, aviation, telecom. You need to be aware of them. And especially if you have applied for a particular team, for example, uh, uh, energy sector, then you should be aware that what are the roles of regulatory authorities, the uh, the APTEL, and how a case are filed in regulatory authorities, what are the powers of regulatory authority. You should study about Electricity Act, henceforth and so forth. Then you should always highlight specific skill set that could add a benefit to the organization. For example, if you've applied for a litigation internship, and during the interview, if you can inform the interviewer that, sir, I have a keen interest in litigation because I have done a couple of moot courts, mock trials, parliamentary debates, and elocution to demonstrate that I have good oratory skills, I have good analytical skills, and that's why I'm a fit for this internship. And you should consider me on a higher pedestal than other candidates. So when you inform all these skills, although those may be mentioned in your CV, but by giving an example of a moot court which you have attended and won, or maybe participated, where you have a special experience, or some judge has recommended or applauded your oratory skills, that gives a confidence in you, and you can communicate this to the prospective employer that this was done in that interview. So they will also understand, yes, the candidate has a particular skill set and we should consider him for this particular job. Then comes a most common question is about your strengths and weaknesses. This line of questioning about your strengths and weaknesses tells the interviewer how much self-aware you are and whether you are willing to work upon these weaknesses. Now, when it comes to strengths and weaknesses, be articulative and align your strengths and weaknesses for the internship that you have applied for. For example, you need not show your weakness during the interview, but you should tell them. For like, if you are a stubborn guy, you need not lock horns with the interviewer. You just make your point. Don't give an impression that if your thought process is not accepted, then you are unwilling to take the viewpoint of others, especially in a legal sector. So you need to be open, you need to be receptive. Even though you are stubborn or you are less receptive, you need not show those weaknesses during your interview session. So these are the broad perspectives that needs to be kept in mind while preparing for an interview.
Some small doubts. So, due to this COVID pandemic, we know that most of us are doing virtual internships. So, do you think this will affect our placements and in our future when we go for jobs in companies?
See, well, it depends upon person to person, firm to firm, and where you are living. So far as metro cities are concerned, where there are big law firms, they are well acquainted with technology, and they prefer, especially during this COVID times, that a particular candidate opts for a virtual internship because many of the offices are working half of their strength, or maybe they are closed. But all the lawyers are working from their home. Now, coming to this question, you should request for a virtual internship, and the employer would prefer for a virtual internship. This COVID has given Indian legal system an opportunity to adopt technology, which it was struggling with for last few decades. And most of the courts, especially high courts and Supreme Court, have very smoothly adopted to these technological changes with little hiccups. See, whenever there is a technological change, there are hiccups, but they have overcome those hiccups. Now things are very smooth. So far as corporate internships are concerned, they were already well equipped with the technological advances. They already had video conferencing systems, especially during negotiation sessions with when you are doing mergers and acquisitions, or trying to negotiate an agreement. Many people are already comfortable with Cisco WebEx and Zoom even before we were uh, acquainted with these systems. They were using all these technologies much before COVID set in. Now, your question is also important from the perspective of those people who are living in tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities. In fact, I would say that it is more opportune for them that virtual internships are now possible because they don't have to travel to these metros and get exposed to this virus. In fact, they can comfortably at their sitting in their home perform all the jobs which are assigned to them. All the research tools are available like SCC, Manupatra, Money Control, and there are so many other online tools, Westlaw, LexisNexis. They can do all these research sitting at their home. So it's a boon for them. Then a hurdle. And I don't think so it should affect, and they should not think that it would affect their prospects for getting internship opportunities.
Can I move on to the next question?
Yes.
So we've understood how to approach for internship for under a firm or a company, but how do we approach a prospective opportunity for placement?
Okay. See, again, when you are applying for a job, and this is important from the perspective of those students who are either in fourth year, fifth year, or LLM, because you need to be focused. You need to train yourself. You need to be aware where the vacancies are. You need to be aware that which organization you need to apply for, or a firm you would need to apply for. Then you should also aspire that these are the firms where I should apply, and should research, work around that. If these are the law firms where I want to apply, then under whom I should apply. When should I apply? If you are graduating in May and June and you want to apply for July, that's not the right way. You should plan well in advance. Apply in February or January, because all these law firms have a continuous recruitment cycle. And even the big organizations have continuous recruiting cycles. So you need to be aware of them. If you're not aware that whether I should apply well in advance or should I apply at a particular time, it's always better to check their websites. if the websites are not available of a particular law firm or a particular organization, or they do not give information about these openings, then it's always better to call them. Second option is, now there are various websites which gives you gives you information about where there is a job opportunity, like LawSeeko and Lawreto, Law Octopus, especially LinkedIn. In fact, we have seen in last 1 year that many students have joined LinkedIn and have followed various law firms, organizations, and they are active on LinkedIn. See, LinkedIn is a professional social media website, and I would recommend each and every student that they should have a LinkedIn page, and they should connect with lawyers, they should connect with influencers, they should connect with law firms or organizations where they aspire to work, or they think that these are the role models whom such particular students should follow. So if you are aware, then you would also be aware that what development in law is taking place, because these people who are influencers, who are top lawyers or top companies, top law firms, they continuously update their LinkedIn profile and disseminate information about the latest case that they have handled or the latest transaction they are doing. So it is important to keep abreast with the latest information, and LinkedIn is one of those mechanisms. And it also gives you access to these law firms, these lawyers, but with a caution: do not send personal messages on professional websites. Although you have access to them, but it is not preferred that you send, "Hi sir, hello ma'am, how are you feeling?" No, these websites are not meant for that. Yes, if you have a specific legal question or have a doubt, you can always request that, "Sir or ma'am, I have a doubt, and would you be comfortable if I send you an official mail, or would you be comfortable in answering me at LinkedIn? Whatever you advise, I'll do accordingly." Many times they would respond by an appropriate answer that, "Yes, you can write to me or call me at so and so time, and I will try to give you an answer for your queries." So these are the aspects that needs to be kept in mind. Then always discuss with your seniors who have cracked the placement last year, because they will give you practical advice that this particular firm has come to your college last year for placement, and these people were looking for these particular qualities in a candidate and this particular skill set. So you can prepare your CV, you can prepare for the interview from that perspective, and that will give you a first-hand information about the interviewer and the employer, what they are looking for. Arrive at an interview or for placement well within the time. Maintain a positive attitude, composure, and concentrate for the work that you have come for. Don't get disoriented. If you can't answer all the questions in the interview, don't get discouraged. Don't panic, because if you panic, then you will lose focus. If you don't know the answer, you may say, "Excuse me, sir, I'm not aware of that particular fact, but I would study. Thank you for giving a food for thought." So it will also look good to the interviewer that this particular candidate is honest. Don't give answer which you know that they are not correct, or you are assuming something, because that would give you a bad impression, because the person who's asking the question knows the answer. And if your answer do not match the answer which he has thought of, then it may give a negative points to the interview. Then important point is, please, whenever you are going for an interview, read your CV thoroughly. You should be aware what you have done, what you have written in your CV. Because the interviewer is going to ask questions on not only the things that he wants to ask questions, but also from your CV. If you have done an internship with a particular organization, he may ask you what type of work you have done in that particular organization. How was the environment in that particular organization? What did you learn from that particular internship in that organization? And what special thing you found in that particular organization which you need to evaluate in your career? Then always carry sufficient copies of your CV. Don't go empty-handed. Many times the organization would itself request you to carry 1 or 2 copies of your CV, but it's always better that you carry at least 2 copies unless they ask for more, because you don't know how many interviewers would be there. So it's always better that you may ask the HR of that particular organization or law firm that how many interviewers would be there, so that you are prepared for that particular interview. One more thing, many times we have seen that interviewees and the candidates do not wear formal clothes or clean clothes. It's a complete no-no. Please wear formal and clean pressed clothes while going for an interview. Even if you are doing a virtual interview, as I said earlier, it's always better to dress smartly, formally, and your appearance makes a difference. And if you are doing a telephonic interview, as telephonic interview is common these days, prefer a quiet room or a room with little or no disturbance. Because if there is a background noise, that would mar your chances in getting a job offer. One more thing, in fact, I should also tell you that there are certain tips to crack these placements, which you should be aware of, and you should do before applying and while going for an interview. Make sure that you have thoroughly covered the basics of your field to have a complete knowledge with the latest development. Revise all the important subjects that you have studied during your college years, because to test your academic proficiency, the interviewer may ask any question. So it's better to revise. Legal questions would be asked because you are going for a legal internship. It is seen that well-informed candidates make a good impression. And make sure that you polish your general knowledge with latest developments. And if you're going in a particular law firm or a company, please read about them before going there. If they have done a recent transaction or a deal which has made headlines, or which did a case which are widely reported, please read about those cases, read about those deals. And when you inform the interviewer that you were influenced by such case and the way that case was handled, the law points which were discussed during that case, it will leave a good impression in the interviewer that yes, this particular candidate is well aware not only of the latest developments, but also about our firm. And this person is well read. Now, when you are sending a cover letter or a CV, it shows that you have a good writing skills. But when it comes to interview, it tests your communication skills also. So apart from your legal skills, you need to prove that you will be a good addition to their organization. So make sure to showcase the best version of yourself in front of the team or the interviewers for your personality and communication skill.
So can I move ahead with this next question? So, sir, you know that NLUs have a preference in internships and placements. So, am I audible?
Just a moment. Yes, please tell.
So, sir, you know that NLUs have a preference in internships and placements in firms, two-type firms and all. So, what do you suggest for NLU universities to get into internship, two-type internships firms and all? This question was Meenakshi.
Okay.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. I just had a question. Add on to this, since internships
Dear
are
students,
reserved
please
by.
post the question in the chat box. If it's found relevant, I'll be asking the question. Please
You
post in
can
the chat
put your
box.
questions in the chat box and Afsana may ask that question. So yes, you were asking a question that how to get an internship at tier 1 or tier 2 law firms when a candidate is from a non-NLU university. See, I have a different perspective. Even if you are from a non-NLU college, but you have done your internships right, you have done moot courts, you have done articles, you have got scholarships, you have participated in seminars, you have good academic background, you have done certifications and diplomas that will also help you in getting an internship in top law firms or companies. So if you are not from an NLUs, but you are from other good colleges or from any college for that matter, you need to work on these skills. Start from day one, prepare, be focused, do your internships, write articles. They will not only help you in getting a job, they may also help you in getting a good college during your LLM. Many of you would be interested in applying for LLM in foreign countries, for example, UK, US, or Ivy League college, Singapore, um, Switzerland. There are many good colleges over there. They look not only for your academic excellence during your college days, they also look how much articles or how many articles you have written, where they have been published. If you have done moot courts, what is your position in those moot courts? If you have done mock trials, parliamentary debates, elocutions, please write all of them. Also do all of them. If you have not done it till now, don't worry, plan it, do it. It will only be cherry on the top on your CVs. Please do it. The reason is it's a very competitive world. And you have to compete with your friends, with your peers to attain these jobs, especially during COVID times when the market is tight. And these things will help you not only to compete with NLUs, but also with your peers, your friends. So make sure that you don't waste your time. I understand that college gives you freedom to explore new things. But at the same time, if you are well focused about your career aspirations, it will help you to get good internship placements and jobs, and also good colleges for LLM.
Can I move ahead with the next question? So, we have long-term running internships at a particular office or a short-term 1-month internships. So, what internship is better in providing good CV, enough CV as a highlight, and in getting placements and all? This question was with Fiza.
Yeah, it's a good question, Afsana. See, it depends upon student to student and college to college. Because if you are in a 5 years law college and the college has a particular time frame when you can do internship. Many colleges have time during summer breaks that yes, you have 2 or 3 months, you do your internships, maybe May and June. Many times it's commonly seen that most of the colleges are off during those 2 months, and we are flooded with applications, especially during May and June. So if your college is permitting you to do internship for 1 or 2 months, please apply for 1 month internship or 2 months internship. But as I told you in the beginning of this session, please plan it in advance so that your chances of getting an internship increases. So don't wait for your final exams to get over and then apply for internship. Apply well in advance so that you get an opportunity. That's number one. Number two is many firms and companies offer only a month internship or 15 days internship, maximum 2 months internship. They don't give you opportunity to work longer. So you need, it's very specific request that you are making. However, if you want to go into litigation, let me tell you, and it's very important for those audience who are there today who are interested in litigation, that if your college is still from morning 8 till evening 4 or maybe at till 2 o'clock, then you have evening available with you. Please go to any good lawyer in your city. Request him that, sir, please allow me, or ma'am, please allow me to do a running internship immediately from the college. I will come to the office, work on the matters that are ongoing, and then do a running internship with that particular firm or a chamber or an individual. That will help you in many aspects. Number one, when you are doing a running internship, you can work upon a matter for a longer period of time. And when a particular employer knows that you are here for 3 months or maybe 6 months and doing a running internship, they will give you case files. They will trust you more with the matter because they know that this person is going to come today, tomorrow, after 10 days, after 20 days, after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and he will have, or he could have seen how the case progresses. So for litigating lawyers, they prefer running internships. Now, the question comes that we are doing college in the morning and then the evening internship, whether we could attend courts during the day because the courts are not open in the evening. See, for that, the answer is simple. Right now, you are learning more on research and drafting during the internship than on courts craft. Obviously, when you have full internship, when you are there in a law firm from morning till late night, you can attend courts, you can go for client conferences, you can go for senior briefings. But when you are doing a running internship in the evening or for a longer period in a particular law firm, you can always attend client conferences and senior briefings or client interactions. So I would prefer and I would recommend, especially to those students who are interested in litigation career, that they should do 1 or 2 long-term internships.
So, any suggestions to LLM students about their internships and placements?
So far as LLM students are concerned, because they are now the first to enter into this arena of legal fraternity, legal field, they should be very choosy with their internships. They should focus, and because they are more mature, they should focus more in the offices where they want to intern. They should be very meticulous in their research that this is the place I want to work. They might have already tested that, yes, I've already done a particular internship in this place. I like the work culture. I like the matters which they do. So they are more informed about that internship. See, a first year student is going to do an internship. He or she might be a clueless because this would be first internship in a particular area and in a particular environment. But when you are in LLM, you have already done a couple of internships, you are more mature, you are more informed. So doing an internship in an area of your interest at a place of your choice is much better if you can obviously get one.
So I think the students have more questions, but due to the paucity of times, we can't ask all questions, and I've chosen only the relevant questions. I'm really sorry if any of the important questions have been missed out. So I would request Aparna Shukla, the advisor of Training and Placement Cell, to give the vote of thanks. Aparna ma'am, can you give the vote of thanks?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. I would really like to thank sir for taking out time from his busy schedule and informing students about this very important part of their career, which is internship. And the way he explained why, when, where, and whom was actually very helpful because they need to realize the essence of internship and placement and how to actually have a cover letter. We would also like to thank Karthik sir who took time from his schedule to arrange this for us. We would like to thank, I would personally like to thank all the students who are here as the participants, our very important member of the SLS family, our director ma'am who couldn't be here because of certain reasons. I would also like to thank Sanya ma'am for organizing this event along with Sadashiv sir and our IT department for taking time and helping us organize this event. Thank you so much to all the students and thank you so much, sir. It was indeed a very resourceful event. Last but not the least, I would like to thank Afsana and Nivedita, the event coordinators, who took time to organize this event for our LLB plus LLM students. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much. And one thing I would like to tell is that when you guys are in your college, please utilize this time, because when you will get into this profession, you won't get that much of time and liberty to explore. So explore, do more internships, write articles, participate in moot court competitions. These are very helpful for your personality development as well as for building a good CV that will have a good impact when you are applying for a job. With this, I also thank Anuradha ma'am, Sanya ma'am, and Arpana ma'am for hosting me today, and Afsana and Nivedita for organizing this particular seminar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed a informative and enlightening event. We're looking forward to collaborating more events with you. I know the students have a lot of questions. We'll organize more events to clear your doubts, and hope it was a fruitful event for all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.